Hey guys, welcome back to the Houston Coffee Collective podcast. Before we start with the interview, I would like to thank our sponsors for this week. First sponsor of the day is myself. Thank you to myself for getting myself out of the bed today. A real one with that one. Secondly, I would like to be serious and thank Stately Studios. Stately Company has allowed us to shoot in their place, use their equipment, lights, the set, table. Secondly, I would like to thank Israel, our camera guy, secret behind the scenes guy, always there. He's been shooting our first podcast. He's been shooting some of the behind the scenes as well. So thank you to him specifically. And today's episode, we're going to have Alan Fermata from Fermata Roasters. Sorry, Alan Ortega. I've been mixing that up so bad recently. I read the name, it's like Alan Ortega from Fermata Roasters. Coincidentally, our third sponsor of the day.
Yeah. Awesome.
How are you, dog?
Good. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
A little tidbit, Alan just reminded me that we've actually met at Run Club, Axelrad Run Club. I completely slipped my mind.
Yep. I got here and Thomas gave me a hug and said, "Hey, good to meet you." I'm like, "Wait, we met about a month ago.
Yeah.
And we like ran together and everything."
You can excuse me. It's been like you said, a full month, and at Run Club, there's just, if you guys have been to Axelrad Run Club, maybe this will inspire you to go. It's a lot of people.
So many people.
So many. Originally, like when I first started, it was like 20, 30 people for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. It just started rolling and there's like 100, 200 people now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I was surprised how many people were there in this heat. Like it's so hot and people were still there. I think it's a free beer that they offer afterwards.
That, and you can just there's something I discuss this with my friends sometimes. It's just like there's something after running and then going back to a bar where it's like it just creates the yap because like after the running, everyone just sits down and talks for like hours.
Yeah. No, it was a cool time. Yeah.
Nice.
Great.
Maybe we should do that before the podcast. We should go on a huge run and then just drink a few beers.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you for being here today.
Yeah, man. Super excited.
Yeah, nice. I would just like to get started into it. So you're owner of Fermata Roasters?
Yes. So Fermata Coffee Roasters started a little bit over a year now. So we turned one not long ago.
Okay.
Super excited. It was all born from it was a COVID project actually, or COVID idea. Before then, I've been into coffee for many years, since 2017 to be exact. And before then, I was drinking Starbucks, I was drinking I didn't really care about quality of coffee or anything until, you didn't ask me like the origins of it, but I'm just going way back.
Yeah. All the way through.
Until I was introduced to specialty coffee through Blendin' Coffee Club.
Okay.
I used to work really close to their first location in Sugar Land. So I started going there and I was like, wait, what is this? Why does it taste so good? And I can drink it without sugar and milk and it tastes so good.
It just has all these flavors.
That's kind of like where the my love and passion for coffee started. 6 years fast forward, here we are with Fermata Coffee Roasters.
Nice. Yeah. Do you specifically, for your roasting style, only look to get like Central American beans? Obviously being of like Latino origin.
Yeah.
Do you only look for Central American beans or do you just pick depending on like what flavor profiles you want to feature for that month or?
So when I was starting Fermata, I actually met Marco, and I met Marco through a mutual friend, which is Joseph from Zally Beans. And shout out Joseph and Marco.
Marco from La Mestiza.
La Mestiza, yeah, Marco from La Mestiza. And I met him, and we just bonded over coffee. And I was also looking to buy coffee, and I wanted something that I could get accessible and it could be easily accessible here in Houston. So he had a mountain of coffee bags, and so I was like, why not start there? And I remember going to Zally Beans with Joseph one time, and they were actually cupping La Mestiza, and I happened to walk in. So I'm like, hey, why not? Let me be part of the cupping. And I tried it, and I fell in love with the coffee, and I was like, this is good. And at that point, I was again starting to find green and all that, and I was like, okay, this is a perfect place to start. And not only that, but Marco was also great to kind of say, hey, I have a lot of coffee available, so just how much do you want?
Yeah, all the stars just align.
And all the stars just align, just getting to the point of like just starting. and it's still the one that we currently only offer at the moment. But the reason for that is it started as like, let's see what happens, and it's such a good quality that we didn't really have to expand more until soon. It's like I'm thinking like it's kind of time to start introducing some more coffee.
Okay.
But for a whole year, we've been like pushing quality over quantity, and this has been like such a good coffee, and it's been growing and it's been expanding in different locations and different coffee shops, and we're shipping all over the US and everything. So that's kind of like I wanted quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have 10 coffees that are bad. I'd rather have one that is really good and
really
just push that. Yeah. So similar idea to what Yo-Yo's Hot Dogs does. You go and order hot dogs. It's not like, how many options do I have? It's more like, how many do you want?
Yes.
So it's kind of like our idea with coffee is like, I want to have really good quality, and we have one good coffee, so we're just going to push that. And that's sort of where we are at the moment. But yeah, super fun. It's been a learning curve in the year that we've been in business. So trial and errors, we've been learning, here and there. But yeah, Fermata was born out of just my curiosity for coffee and my passion and love for coffee. So yeah.
So leading me down some of these steps. So you get a coffee from Blend, and it was like, oh, this is great. What part of that was like, I need to be able to produce this as well?
So when I was going to Blendon every day, because at that point I was like, what is this? What is this crack I've never tasted before, and it's actually legal. So and yes, I actually started getting more into the brewing side of things. So just learning everything from the ratios, grind size, water quality, and I mean, just everything.
Methods.
Right. And yeah, so V60, AeroPress, Chemex, origamis, just so I went into that rabbit hole first, and then later our kitchen started looking like a coffee lab, because I was buying every single brewing method available.
Just a big temperature set everywhere. Just
exactly.
3 different water pots just boiling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of like how we got started how I got started with coffee. It wasn't until, again, like I mentioned, during COVID, that roasting became like something that I wanted to explore. So I got myself a sample roaster, small, 100 gram per batch, and I started buying coffee from Sweet Maria's. If anybody's aware, they sell all kinds of green and coffee equipment and everything. So I started buying like 1 pound at a time. So I started buying from Rwanda, from Colombia, from just to try different coffees. And I was roasting just for personal use, to experiment, learn about roasting, and burn a few batches here and there, or under roasted some batches. So that was the whole point. I wanted to like just get a feel for it and learn a different side of coffee. And one thing led to another, and now here we are. But basically my journey started with the brewing side of coffee, and with my friends at Blendon.
Nice. And your background comes from music, right?
Right.
So you're originally a drummer.
Right.
So do you still do shows now, even with Fermata Roasters, or do you typically just stay within the coffee game?
Both. So currently I'm wearing a lot of hats. I have a full-time job. So I'm in the automotive industry. I work for Sonic Automotive. Okay. So I currently have a full-time job, and I'm also running the Fermata Coffee Roasters, and I'm right now currently playing only on Sundays. So I play at First Presbyterian of Houston. It's a Presbyterian church that is in the Museum District. So, and I've been there for a long time. But before then, I was playing with a country band. I was, with a wedding band here and there, traveling and stuff. So it's not until recently that kind of just, so
like a residency almost? Or?
Music kind of, became like that residency where
I keep seeing it mess with you. I was like, oh,
likes my lotion here, the music part is right now just once a day. And the roasting is kind of like my business baby. So every day I get home to do something related to coffee. If I'm not roasting, I'm writing emails. I'm, sending, going to the UPS stores, shipping coffee, etc. So it keeps me very busy. Oh, and also I'm a runner.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time running, training for half marathons.
I was going to say, because I think when we spoke at Axelrad, you were talking about that you did a marathon, or you were in training for a marathon.
So this year will be my 4th in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, 4th in a row since 2020. And every year I've been trying to just PR and beat my old time, my own record. So this year I'm going for an hour and 40 minutes, which is like a 7-mile pace.
Half marathon?
Half marathon, yeah. And then maybe there'll be my last one. Maybe next year I'll do the full.
Good luck with that. I've only ever done one full marathon, and I was bored.
Yeah.
I feel like the actual best running time is like a half marathon, because that time that I did a Woodlands marathon a few years ago. That entire thing was like, oh wow, it's like the psycho mentality of I'm running and running, and it's like, wow, I'm done halfway. This is great. And it's like, now I have another.
Yeah. So it takes a while to build there, and I just don't like jumping into something. Like, I could run a marathon right now if I wanted to. I'm such a Well, first of all, I'm very competitive and also really hard on myself, and I'm a perfectionist. So I like to, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to make sure that I do it and then go all in. And I'm prepared, and then I'm ready to go all in. So that's why I've been kind of building this half marathon prep. So then next year when I do the full, I already decided mentally that I'm going to do the full. I'm already a little bit more prepared, and I'm not like, dead halfway through it or something. I want to run it.
Or you gas yourself out.
Yeah, I want to run it with confidence, and I want to feel strong when I do it and stuff. So.
Are you doing the Houston or?
The Houston, the one in January. Chevron, yeah. So.
It's a really good one. Most of my friends do it, and I should probably get back into actually running for a marathon. Because I started doing Axelrad Run Club because my friends wanted me to go there. And then we had the 5K for Hidden 5K on Instagram. And unfortunately, I couldn't actually run that one. But now I just feel like I've been tapering off the Axelrad, and I want to get back into it. I feel like I need a purpose to get into running or training. Yeah.
Right now it's kind of like the off season. First of all, it's really hot to run. So I try to do a lot of indoor runs and stuff at an indoor track at the YMCA. Okay. So I do a lot of those. That's why you haven't seen me at Axelrad again.
I haven't been either.
But or either I do it really early or really late. Like yesterday, I didn't run till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Just let the sun go down and everything. So
if you're not a runner and you don't understand, it's horrible. It's so humid, and
it's hard to breathe.
Yeah, the air feels super thick, and it's I usually try to breathe through my nose, but when it's hot, you have to breathe through your mouth sometimes. It's bad, but
no, that's basically one of my hats that I wear. It's just me, and for me, running and working out is my outlet to release a lot of stress, and also part of therapy. Just
someone's meditative.
Exactly. So and I feel like that just if I can do that for me, then I can be my better self for everything around me, for coffee, for Fermata, for my family, friends, wife, work. So that's just me. It doesn't work for everybody, but that's just the way that I see running for me.
That's actually kind of very similar to how I see weightlifting or going to the gym and doing super hard sets, where if I'm able to handle this much physical stress or mental stress while doing weightlifting, I can handle being in the bar and being stressed and being in a rush and stuff like that. So gym for me is one of those outlets where it can help me train not only physically but also mentally as well.
It's the time for me that I have to. Just yesterday I was running and I was listening to an audiobook. So that's it's the time that I have for myself to disconnect from everything and just either listen to a podcast or read music or just
Houston Coffee Collective podcast.
There you go.
What were you listening to?
So it's a book it's an audiobook that they're making the film right now.
Dune?
And it's gonna come out it's gonna come out in August. Okay. And it's called It Ends With Us. My wife got me into reading it actually, and it just works out better for me to actually listen to it than like actually reading it, because if I read it, first of all, I have to read it right before I go to bed, because that's when I stop. Literally, my day is like so full that I stop right before I go to bed, literally. So if I do that, I fall asleep within 5 minutes.
But then you retain nothing.
Exactly. I actually had to reread the first like 6 pages, because I would literally read it, fall asleep, I wouldn't retain anything. The next day I was like, let me go back. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna listen to it, as I can do it while I'm driving, while I'm running, whatever.
That's why I don't watch TV before going to sleep, because like if I am really invested in this TV show and I fall asleep, it's like, now I have to rewatch an entire episode.
But that's one of the hats, is just going back to that, is just basically I stay busy, and I think that just goes back to how I grew up, and back to just seeing my family always having this entrepreneurial spirit. So I've always seen them work hard. So I have really good examples of working hard. Going back to like my grandfather, and going back to my, just everybody that came before me, I always saw them working. So for me, is hard work is not scary. For me, hard work excites me and wants me like get up every day and like go run and go to work and go.
You like the idea of like being challenged in a way, or like you're working towards something while having it to be like something that you have to work towards, as opposed to just something that you're giving.
So for me, every time that I do something, first of all, I think it has to start with purpose. And Fermata is a big purpose. Why I do things and why I get up every day is to grow this baby that I have, and feed it and teach it things and learn things and stuff. So definitely that's one of the things that if you have purpose, and which right now I feel like I'm on the right path, just with everything that I'm doing in my life, it's easy to get up out of bed every day, because I know what I have to do, and I'm planning the day before for my following day. From what I eat, from what I do, from what so I'm already thinking of tomorrow. So I think purpose is definitely the first thing that you gotta have in order for you to like be have like a plan, and have like not be so tunnel vision, but just kind of be like, this is what I have to do.
By chance, were any of your parents like in the military?
No.
It just
actually nobody in my family. It's crazy. Also because I'm first generation American. Some parents are immigrants. So nobody in my family was part of that. But I think the discipline just comes from my parents, just having the discipline of of just working hard and going after what you want. And
especially as immigrants, my parents are very much the same way. So like born in Acapulco, Guerrero, and then they immigrated to LA. Had all my brothers and sisters, then I was born, and then they immigrated back down to Houston.
Oh wow!
And been here pretty much my entire life.
So same. Parents from Mexico, and they came here when I actually lived a few years in Mexico.
Nice.
But my mom was in Juarez.
Okay.
So my mom was going to school here, so she would go to school, and then also her doctor, when she was pregnant with me, was in El Paso. So from El Paso and Juarez, that border city. So that's actually where I was born and raised, if you didn't know. In El Paso, and so I was lucky enough to be born here, but then my mom would take me back to Mexico, and I actually lived there, I believe, till I was 4 before I started school, which I started school here. So kind of a cool story. Just
kind of also like wholly enriching. I feel like just to be like technically have like dual citizenships in a way. You can go back and forth. Maybe a little bit harder now with current situations.
My childhood was going to Mexico because we have a lot of family there. So literally crossing over almost every weekend or every few weeks, and even like as a grown up, when I still lived there, I would go with my friends, and we would go because with $20, you could go eat at a restaurant, you can go to the movies, and you can like have a good time. Yeah, you can have a great time, and all with $20, and you can't really do that here.
No.
You can go to a coffee shop, get a coffee and a pastry. That's $20 here.
Certain coffee shops. I don't know. I go to Catalina a lot because it's super cheap.
Yeah.
No offense, but just like I'll go there, get a coffee and pastry, $7. I'm like, oh, God bless.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
But then it's like, what leaves you $10, and what are you gonna do? Like maybe get like a half a sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah. So growing up, I did feel like I had that dual citizenship where when I was there, I really didn't feel like I was from Mexico, but then when I was here in the United States, I didn't feel like I was from here. So I kind of have like that fighting kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we are from where we are, from where we stand. So we're here, we're American. If we're there back in our country, then we are from there. So that's the cool thing about it.
I don't know if this sounds goofy, and I've said this to people, and it seems to resonate really mostly with me, but have you ever seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Fresh Prince, yes.
Yes. There is an episode when Will and Carlton go to college and they're trying to get into fraternity, and Carlton actually gets like soft denied because he acts, I guess, white. He comes from a privileged background,
right?
And then he has this really, in my opinion, I like the speech a lot, where he talks about like being black isn't something that he strives to be because he is black. He is his race. He doesn't have to be something that he's not. His personality doesn't have to come from his race and stuff like that.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I guess sometimes like my friends was like, oh, you're like a bit whitewashed and like a bit bougie and stuff like that. It's like, yes, but it's like I can still be Hispanic just because of my heritage and not be Hispanic because I was born in a certain place.
Sure.
Yeah.
Me and my wife joke around about like we say recharging a lot when we like do certain things that take us back to. So whenever we go to a Mexican restaurant and playing like Mexican music and stuff, I'm like, I'm in that environment. I'm like, I'm recharging right now. It's like I'm in my space where I can like feel, and she does the same thing.
Back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of like recharging my culture, and the same thing with her. She's actually mixed. She's half Mexican, half white, and the same thing with her. She has like that dual, to where it's like
the duality of man.
Yeah. I'm like I can be here and I can be there, and the same way with her. She recharges with Southern foods, and she different food and music and stuff. So
honestly, because I just came back from New Orleans, went to Coffee Fest, but I think this is also like a really positive thing about Houston itself. Where like Houston is very much diverse. Like when I was in New Orleans, I saw not that many Hispanic people, so mostly demographic was like white or black. But here in like Texas and Houston specifically, we have a huge variety.
Yeah.
It is just Hispanic. It isn't just black people. It isn't white people. It's a lot of Asians, a lot of
everything.
Arabic, a lot of like Muslim. Oh, that's a race, not religion. Sorry, like Arabics, and a lot of like Middle Eastern people as well. There's people from all over the type of world. So I feel like growing up in Houston has kind of spoiled me a little bit. So whenever I go traveling, it's always like, oh, it's very much like monotone.
No, Houston's it's crazy, and that's why I think Houston has such a rich coffee culture, is because you have people from all over the world that enjoy coffee differently. And so I mean that's why I love Houston, is the food, the coffee, the people. I mean the music, just everything about it. And speaking of that, like every time that we go travel somewhere, and even big cities, like I'm not gonna lie, like maybe I wasn't going to the right spots, but
the music isn't the same.
The coffee.
Oh, okay.
Like coffee in Houston is just so, I feel like it's underrated, but luckily, thanks to like people like you guys,
we're trying,
and also all these people that are coming out and competing at a national level.
Well, it's really you as well, because like it's also like small business owners like getting into the game, like people from different backgrounds getting into coffee, and then showing that they aren't just people. Like business people, they're just trying to get into coffee just to make money. You're here because you care about the product that you're putting out there.
Absolutely. That was the main reason why I started coffee, is just I fell in love with the coffee culture and the people, and then at the same time you get to help producers and their families, and you get to help. And not only that, besides like everything that happens before you brew the cup, you also get to put a smile on somebody's face when they try your coffee and they're like, dude, this is amazing. Like, this is so good. So that's also another reason why I love it.
Like, you never know, because like sometimes I'll have like a shitty day, and then like I'll serve someone a cup of coffee, and I never really put my heart in it, and then they're like, oh, this is fucking good, and I was like, damn, maybe I still got it. Maybe I shouldn't be jaded all the time. Yeah. And then it could literally be one of those experiences where you can spawn someone like you, and it's like, whoa, this is the best coffee I've ever had. What is this? And then they slowly get into that rabbit hole of like getting into coffee roasting, coffee producing, coffee brewing, anything. I
mean, that's basically how I got my start, which was with somebody educating me that there's better coffee out there. And if it wasn't for my buddies at Blendin that actually pushed me and had the patience, because I would literally go in, and you can ask Nick actually that he just opened his coffee shop.
Have you been yet?
I have not been yet. I was gonna go on Sunday, but then I saw a post that it's closed on Sunday. So boo! I'm just kidding.
How dare you?
I'll see you soon, Nick. But I would go. Nick was working at Blendin at that time, and also Josh and Aaron, and Josh and Aaron are still there. And I would go every day and just pick their brains, literally. And I'll be like, why? How can this taste like? How does this taste like blueberries, or how does this taste like,
So when it's planted and it's grown, and there's nothing around, how does it taste like blueberries, or how does this jasmine taste? What does this taste like? Pineapple turn cake. Yeah.
So there was a lot of patience, and also just educating me. And if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for how friendly they were and how willing they were to give all their information that they know from like all this SCA information that they knew,
all the classes,
then I wouldn't be where I am now. I probably would have kept drinking what I was drinking before, which was still not good.
Still would have been a Starbucks girl.
Which is, Starbucks was, not to bash on them, but they were the first wave of coffee in this country. I mean, so it's a good thing that they were around.
This is something that I talk about, is like a lot of Starbucks is good for the scene, even if like it's more commercial coffee. Even some people think of it as specialty. I think there's an argument to say that it could be specialty, especially with like, this is outside of being specialty, but they do also sponsor people to go to competitions. And I've met people at SCA competitions being sponsored by Starbucks.
That's awesome.
But I like to think of Starbucks as like a rising tide that always, I guess his adage or quote is like, a rising tide lifts all boats. So like, as Starbucks gets more popular, there are some people like you who are just going to fall off and get into the specialty coffee scene.
Sure.
It's all, I guess, beneficial for the scene in general.
Absolutely, and I'm not gonna lie. There's times that's all I have when I'm driving somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and there's happens to be a random Starbucks there, and it's like, I'm gonna stop and get coffee, because I rather have coffee than no coffee at all. So I will stop, and I do have my favorite drink, which is the shaken espresso with oat milk, and I mean it's good.
It's a classic.
It's a classic, it's good. And again, just Starbucks is just such I like going there, and it takes me back 20 years ago when I used to go and like study, and when I was in high school, and I just gave my age out. I'm old, but a long time ago, and I used to Starbucks was the place to go to study and listen to music and do all that cool stuff.
Sorry, I want to take a small break because they have to reset the cameras, right? We're back. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for entertaining our break there. Seamless break.
Exactly.
So last we were talking about Starbucks, but Starbucks is a bit of a major corporation. You guys are a local roaster. Tell me about the Fermata brand, because on your Instagram you have a post detailing a lot of the significance in the branding itself. But what does Fermata actually mean to you?
So Fermata has different meanings, and yes, if you go to our Instagram page, we talk a lot about the branding. We talk a lot about
at Fermata Roasters.
At Fermata Coffee Roasters.
Excuse me.
And we do talk a lot about it, because are very detailed in everything that we even like by the color of the bag and also
well,
about
it
the
goes
meaning.
back to like that what you were saying about purpose and intentionality.
Right. And so when we were coming up with the name, I was going back to like I guess the first initial steps of Fermata. Yeah, so Fermata is a musical term, and which means to hold a note or also to rest for a prolonged period of time.
Right.
And if you're a soloist, or if you're a singer, or if you're a violinist, and you have a fermata on top of a rest, on top of a note, that means that you get to either rest or hold for as long as you want. That's if it's part of a musical piece. So the way I thought about that was just because we can implement that into our own lives,
right?
Which means to like I mentioned, prolong and to continue and to sustain. So we can put that back into like our personal lives and say, sustain, don't give up, be consistent. Fight for what you want. Kind of like that, having like that passion into everything that you do.
Right.
So that's kind of like the other side, or our own metaphor of a company. But then we also have like the musical term where it came from, and because I am a musician, that was one of the terms that just came to mind one day, and I was like, it just hit me, and I shared it with my wife, she's my creative director for the company. And
shout out to the wife.
Yeah, Sarah, by the way.
Yeah,
that's the name, Sarah De La Rosa. And we just like love the name so much. One of them, it just looks good and sounds good, and it's an Italian name, just because a lot of the terminology for music is in Italian, like allegro and crescendo and all these different dynamics and different expressions are in Italian for classical music. So
interesting. Was it because a lot of like classical music was derived from like Italy, or?
Correct. Yeah, the roots of it was born in Europe. Well, it goes back to probably biblical times and stuff, but classical music in itself derives from there and from other European countries. And then jazz was born in America, so, and I'm big on jazz as well, and that's why the little guy there is holding a trumpet, just because the trumpet is a very it's a very important instrument in Mexico, and like mariachi music, but also in jazz, which is one of my favorite genres that I enjoy listening to and also playing on drums, and I wasn't going to put a drum set on there anywhere. It'll be really cheesy.
It'll be a bit hard. But the horse could have a drum tattoo.
Exactly, yeah. But the trumpet, Miles Davis is one of my favorite trumpet players, but also just the origins that it has with like mariachi music and Mexican music. So that's why the trumpet is there. It's very intentional, and it's on the logo of the bag and of Fermata. And so everything that we talk about on our Instagram always has a meaning and has a purpose. Like from the posts that we do, that we give shout outs to our graphic designer, Scott Downey, from Los Angeles, from California. He's in Santa Barbara, actually. And so, we reached out to him. We just love his work, and we love the people that he works with. He does a lot of work with like indie bands. The band Joseph is one of them, and he's doing stuff with Mount Joy, or did things with Mount Joy, and also is working with Howler Brothers. It's a clothing brand.
Okay.
So he does a lot, and with different people, and so we were super excited when he agreed to work with us. As you can see, like everything about it is just super cool.
Yes.
And like the sides of the bags are actually a landscape, which if you cut them up, it actually like connects, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cute.
And this is a sotol plant, which is in West Texas, where I'm from, in El Paso. We have those in our backyard. You can just drive and see thousands of them.
People don't know, but sotol is a derivative of like agave.
Correct. Yeah. So they're actually distilling that now and putting it in like, so sotol drinks are amazing. They're really good.
I was about to say, disclaimer, sotol is very much like mezcal. So if you don't like mezcal, you're not gonna like sotol.
Right.
I love both of them, so I'll drink that shit any day. Yeah.
I still haven't made a Sotol cocktail with coffee, so maybe I should.
Yeah.
I have a Sotol bottle there. So.
If you don't know, I work at Wild off of Montrose, and
where at?
Almost Wild off of Montrose.
Oh, Wild, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not a lot of people actually carry Sotol specifically, but we have a bottle of Sotol up there. And
is it the one from Different Springs in Austin? It's
no, I believe it's called Sotol Uno, and it has like a man with like a bison hat on top of it.
Oh, okay, cool. Do y'all make a coffee cocktail with it? Because I will go there tomorrow and drink.
I mean, we can make obviously a lot of people go there because we have one of our most popular drinks is an espresso martini. Can't say no offense, but I don't like coffee cocktails. I just no. I've been so jaded by coffee cocktails. Like I used to drink espresso martinis, and I used to love Carajillos a lot, but now just like. I would rather have my cocktail separately, and I would rather have my coffee separately.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Always the extremist, I know.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. You haven't tried mine, so maybe I have
You're
to
right.
make you. Yeah. But yeah, the back of our bag it talks about where we get the coffee. It talks about La Mestiza, and then the top paragraph is who we are and who we're here for.
Yeah.
So it says we're here for the doers, for the makers, for those the ones that swim against the ones that swim against the current to reach their dreams. So that was like something that we really believe, strongly believe. So that's how we were like, we got to put that somewhere. It's kind of like our motto is we are here to roast and to serve people that are doing stuff.
Yeah.
And
for
it says right there,
people that want to get up and have that challenging life in a way.
Correct. Yeah. And then Fermata is believing in yourself and persevering despite the adversities that come your way. So it's literally the definition of Fermata in a musical way, but we're putting it in a more metaphorical way, which is, persevering is the same thing as like holding the note and holding it for as long as you want as a musician. So it's got a double meaning, and we just love everything about our branding and having that mission of that. I think is going to carry us and it's going to get us to the next level because we have that solid foundation. And why are we doing this? Why do we do this? So it's for that. It's for you when you drink Fermata, when you drink our coffee, is to get your day started, is to get you going and get you happy, put a smile on your face, get you ready to start the day and go. So
energize you.
Yeah.
And it's not about just profit margins. It's not about because even down to like everything you've been saying, like only having one style of roasting beans, or not one style, but having that one selection of bean isn't about just trying to make money, about trying to like push as much as possible. It's about you want to have this one style super fine tuned so people get out there and taste it and it's like, holy shit, I'm ready to fucking start the day.
Right. So super excited for what's to come.
You do pop-ups as well, right?
Yes. So we've been doing the Vibe Artisan Markets for two reasons. Is well, first of all, Christina is amazing. She's really cool. Every market we do, we have a lot of fun. We went to Austin one time a few months ago, which is great.
Yeah, nice.
And then we've done the ones in Houston. They're at the Post, so we just love it. First of all, because we're inside.
Yes.
We're not outside in the heat. But we do them. I love that the face-to-face with customers, because we are a coffee roaster that is online. We don't have a brick and mortar. We don't have that face-to-face interaction with people. This is like our only chance to
talk to people, get feedback.
And every time we come out, we've made friends from it. We've made like really cool people that come out and support every single time we have a pop-up. The last pop-up we had at Mall Market, which at Montrose, we had people that came from Jersey Village, from Katy, from all over the city, and I'm like, wait, you guys came all the way for just for me? Like what? I'm like, yeah. So we have some Fermata fans that are following, that love the coffee, and love the branding and the work that we're putting into it.
And in a little way, they love you because like the Fermata brand can only carry it so much, and it is your work and your face out there that helps bring it all to like tie a full circle.
Correct. Yeah. So that's such a cool feeling to like have people come and say, we love your coffee. It's like literally like that boost that I need, you know, to keep going, to keep pushing. Is like all this feedback, and even the negative feedback, I take it in a good way. Which happens at times, you know.
I really like feedback, like especially like we just uploaded like a first promo for the first podcast that we shot with Lexa, so we're getting a lot of feedback on that, and it's like it's good. But this is gonna go back all the way back to like the actual rad when we first met. Some of the thing is just like I like my animosity so much that sometimes when someone comes up to me and is like, hey, I love you, and I was like, oh no, I've been fucking perceived. That's why I usually, whenever that happens to me in public, I'm like, okay, gotta disengage, because I have a personal friend and my girlfriend at the time, or right now.
Ooh. Wait, I'm confused. What?
I have a personal friend and a girlfriend, and both of them like to make fun of me because they were like, because I have this podcast and a public figure now, and it's like, oh, you're super famous. And there's this story where I was hanging out with that personal friend of mine at the park, and a guy that I know came up, and we started talking, and then as we were leaving, it was like, yo, this guy's famous. And he unironically said that, and now I'm just like, oh God, now it's a real thing. It was like, people are saying I'm famous, and it was like, and I'm just trying to hide back so much of it. And it was like, no, I'm just a guy. I'm just a boy.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting the fame, you know, but it just, keep yourself grounded. And
I think one of my issues is that I don't want the idea of like getting famous and actually like start changing a lot of my character myself.
Absolutely, yeah.
So in a way, I think I do this as a defense mechanism to keep myself a little bit more humble, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm that guy and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love this podcast idea that you're doing. Well, first of all, it's gonna teach you so much about yourself and just about doing something with people and having this conversation. Like, you never know who's listening on the other side. What they might learn from it. Maybe somebody listens to it and going back to like getting into coffee. Maybe this is the
breaking off point.
Yeah, the point where they're like, hey, maybe I'll pursue coffee, or maybe something that we say today is
inspire someone to become a roaster.
Exactly.
Or even like, I think we mentioned a little bit, like New Orleans, we're like, this is like my first time going to Coffee Fest, and this is my personal friend Tori, her first time competing in Coffee Fest, and then seeing her from like getting past day one, and then getting past day two, and then getting to day three. It was like the Sweet 16.
Wow.
And it's like, this is like her first year competing in like these kind of events, and it's like just seeing the growth of like starting out. We worked at Luce together a few years ago, and she originally came into the shop as an AT&T salesperson. So trying to sell AT&T, and then she was like, yo, let me apply here. And then just seeing her growth as a non-coffee person all the way to like being
incredible,
a top competitor, and just in the Houston scene was like
incredible.
I love that.
Wait, we can ask her what she thought about my coffee cocktail.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Victoria.
Tori.
I met her at Fifth Vessel at an event back in December. And
was that for the Fifth Vessel Throwdown?
Throwdown, yes. Yeah. And I was outside freezing, by the way, and I was making cold drinks. But yeah, I was making like a version of a carajillo, but I was shaking with ice and not espresso, because I didn't want to have an espresso machine out there.
Yeah.
But it turned out good. So I mean, they kept coming back for it. So you can ask her when next time you see her.
I'll see you later tonight. Like, yo,
there you go. You gotta ask her.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's cool. Yeah. And again, this is gonna build maybe different sides of you that you never know you had. And even like if maybe being in front of a camera, it gets you a little bit,
more adjusted to. Like, also, because like it is a bit different, because like when you're working at a bar or a coffee shop, you're talking to a person, it can be one-on-one, but then you're also like talking to other people, and you get to like have a break. With this, it's like a pure one-to-one conversation.
Right.
It's like trying to navigate a a conversation where like it's not boring for the audience, because
Right.
it isn't really just for us, it's also for our audience.
Exactly.
Not our physical audience, but our audience out there watching the camera.
Which we do have some audience back there.
Yeah. Thank you for breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah.
But it is a struggle of like developing all these skills of being like, even like going back to like the first episode where like
Wait, is this the second episode?
This is the third.
Third episode. Okay, okay. Cool.
Our first episode was with Alexa, which is one of our
Yes.
HCA6 Houston Coffee Collective board members / employees.
Alexa, yeah, I know her from Eden Plant, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Super cool person.
She's a great person.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna hate me when I first met her. I also think this about everyone. I feel like I'm just like super extreme personality. Yeah.
You're so lovable. You're so like warm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Even though you forgot that we ran together a month ago.
It was a month ago. You gotta excuse me. You were also wearing different clothes. You wear like a blue like sweater, like it was like a blue jacket. It was a blue jacket, I swear, not a coat. It was like a rain jacket, no?
Well, I don't know what I was wearing. I was probably wearing shorts because it's hot.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure because it was like it's been that a month. Like it's been raining on and off, but it did rain that night. I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure you had like a blue raincoat.
You're making it worse.
No. Let's go back.
Me.
Go back to that photo that you took, and I swear we'll find you.
I will go back.
Yeah.
I will go back.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a photo somewhere about that. Anyway.
And then someone can prove, like, oh my God, Thomas is not schizophrenic.
Or maybe I was talking to somebody else. That could be it.
No, you
maybe it wasn't you.
Okay. I definitely remember now that you brought it up.
Because I did go on stage and I was talking on the. So you remember that? So
I definitely remember that because I was like, oh, that was the guy I was just talking to.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, it was like, shit, should I go up there to get a hat?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's funny. But okay, yeah. So the podcast is
This is helping me develop a lot of skills, and
I like it.
Hopefully, like I said, it's that one-to-one where like I'm able to develop that conversation, confidence of being able to have that 1v1. Oh my God, one-on-one conversation. Yeah.
It'll get easier when you're like at episode 100. Like, just imagine you're gonna be flowing with all these words. You're gonna be like so smooth.
We're gonna have actual fucking sponsors. Not to say that Stately and you guys aren't sponsors, but we have like sponsors like, I don't know, Audible. Why not?
Yeah.
I read Audible. Please, Audible, sponsor us.
Exactly. That'll be cool. Maybe Fermata, you'll have some coffee.
We'll have a full coffee machine and we'll just brew some coffee for someone.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's actually one of the dreams.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I think we're running a little bit short on time now. I feel like we can go for like another 30, 40 minutes, but we do have a bit of a hard out just to give the audience a little bit of time before we start expanding the times of the podcast. But do you have any like final words that you wanted to give to anyone?
Yeah. First of all,
sorry to cut you off. About like a piece of advice that your grandfather's, because I know you mentioned it before, and it's one of the very questions that I wanted to get into. What is like a piece of information that he bestowed upon you that you feel like would translate well for like the audience?
Yeah, that's First of all, thank you for having me here and for trusting me to bring this information and everything.
You were great.
And for the audience, thank you for supporting. For always, it's been quite a year, and we've seen nothing but love from people out there and supporting our brand and everything. But yes, going back to my grandfather and my parents again. I do come from immigrant families, so I always saw them working. My grandfather actually, I was talking to him yesterday about it because I was coming here.
Nice.
and it was one of the questions that we wanted to kind of like talk about, and I was like, I knew about the story, I just didn't know the actual details about it, but I knew that it was a long time. I didn't know that it was 11 years. He was actually crossing the river to work in America illegally. So, and back in 1976, my mom was little, and so he was actually, for 11 years, he would cross every Sunday night the river, the Rio Grande, to be able to work over here. And then we'll work from Monday through Friday, and then Fridays we'll cross back to Mexico to be with
the
family, which was my grandmother and 5 kids. And which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, I can barely take care of my dog. I can imagine and my grandmother taking care of 5 babies because my mom was 6 at that time. And then she had older brothers and older sisters. So it was just a crazy story and experience. And they did that for 11 years just to be able to provide us and give us this American dream and an opportunity for the future generations, that now we get to enjoy this country and enjoy all the benefits that we get in this country. And if it wasn't for him crossing every weekend in any type of weather, he's saying he would break ice from the river when it was cold. He would swim, and sometimes the current would take him, and he was like, I don't know if I'm gonna come out of this alive. This incredible story, and to me, it's not really about a word that he said, but it's more of his actions and what he did for the family, and what he did for future generations to come, to be able to give us what we have now. And I was actually on the phone with him yesterday, and he's in El Paso, and I'm like, dude, thank you. I didn't call him dude, but I was I call him abuelo. I'm like, thank you for everything, because I mean, without that, I wouldn't have Fermata. I wouldn't have this opportunity. Who knows where I would be?
I wouldn't have that dog.
Who knows? Yeah, it's just I love my life so much that I'm I wouldn't have what I have now if it wasn't for all your hard work. So I'll leave you with this: it's not really about what somebody tells you sometimes. That's important. Somebody gives you advice and things, but my example was always hard work, and I never saw anybody lazy in my family, going to even my parents. I always saw them working hard, even till this day. Everybody works super hard at what they do, and they're successful at what they do. And that's because of hard work, and for passion and for love for what you do. And I thank them for giving me this great example. So now it makes it super easy for me, because now I can get up every day and say, if my grandfather could do it,
I can do it.
Cross a river every day for 11 years.
Support 6 children.
Support five aunts and uncles that I have, and my mom, and a wife, and have this dual life, living in Mexico on weekends and then working here. That's incredible. Who does that?
A madman.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody that really wanted and loved his family to just do it and give us a better life. Which is crazy. So that's. I mean, I'm sure they're giving me advice. I just can't remember of one specific thing, but it's always just
his
work.
His
dedication and his love for his family and his hard work has always been the best example. So, and that translates to everything that I do, and you can see it on Fermata, the love that I put into coffee roasting and the coffee quality, and even our packaging and everything that we do.
Honestly, down to you as a person, because I feel like we can talk about for another 30 minutes. Feels down to you see your parents and you see your parents, and their actions are it's the small moments, the small moments that you remember about people. It's not about all these big efforts. Sometimes you remember just sitting in a room with your grandfather and wow, I love this person. Yeah, and a lot of memories that I have are surrounding coffee,
drinking coffee with my parents, eating sweet bread, and so I have a lot of memories. Coffee always being there, coffee with my grandparents, coffee with my parents. It's just a cultural thing that you do. Is you drink coffee at any time of the day. Sometimes right before going to sleep. At nighttime. So it's café con pan dulce and all that whole So that's. Coffee for me is family, and coffee for me makes me feel warm inside because it reminds me of all that. So that's the cool thing about coffee. Coffee is magical.
That's a really beautiful note to end on. You want to tell people how to find you?
Yes, find us on Instagram, Fermata Coffee Roasters. We have on our bio the people where you can find our coffee if you want to get it in person. We have it in 3 locations, and also our website is there if you want to order coffee. Is fermatacoffeeroasters.com. I would love for you to try our coffee. It is delicious, and more coffees to come. We're working on. You heard it first here. We're working with a producer from Colombia and also from Mexico, and hoping. I love African coffees, so I definitely want to one day explore and have some coffees from Kenya, from Ethiopia. Those are some of my favorite coffees are out there as well. So
a lot of Peabody. It's very like floral. I like a lot of the specifically Ethiopian because it has a lot of like floral notes to it. And one of my weakest points is like tea bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like tasting a lot of like tea attributed coffees.
Yeah. So more to come. Super excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for
Asia,
being here.
Back there. Thank you so much.
We are Houston Coffee Collective. Find us on Instagram at Houston Coffee Collective. Yeah.